This isn't the video that I thought I would be making. If you pay attention, you've probably wondered where have I been. I was consistently posting videos ever since we started our channel, and in November I stopped posting. And the reason why I stopped posting was because I found out that I was pregnant. And so this particular pregnancy was really difficult. All my other pregnancies, I had never felt sick. I had always felt very like I felt like I wasn't pregnant, just I was extra tired. But with this pregnancy, I was super nauseous. I was feeling very, very sick. And so I wasn't able to, I knew that if I created videos that people were going to be able to notice that I was pregnant. And unfortunately, that pregnancy ended in December, right after Christmas. And I'm here to tell you the story of the third miscarriage that I've had in this year. So I guess I'm gonna start from the beginning. I wasn't looking to get pregnant again. We weren't trying to get pregnant again, but I've always had a very difficult time getting pregnant. My whole entire life, if you watched my journey to motherhood video and talking about miscarriage before, you would know that I've always had difficulty getting pregnant. I've made some lifestyle changes, and I also believe that God has healed me, and I've been able to get pregnant, which the doctors had told me that I would have I had a really low chance, a 2% chance of getting pregnant on my own. And this year alone, I've gotten pregnant 3 different times. And so even though I had gotten pregnant twice earlier in this year, I still had that mentality that I had difficulty getting pregnant. After the last miscarriage, we decided that we were going to hold off on getting pregnant for a while. I felt like I had to get mentally and physically in a good place. I felt like I needed my headspace to be in a good place, and I needed my body to be in a good place because I had had 2 miscarriages back to back. And so I wasn't planning on getting pregnant, but I finally felt around September that I was in a good place, and that since it takes us a long time to get pregnant, I told my husband, I think I'm ready for us to start trying. But I kind of wanted to take a different approach. I don't want to actually try. I just don't want to, I didn't want to do any apps. I didn't want to for ovulation tests. I didn't want to do any of that. It was just not preventing it from happening, just kind of like seeing what happened. That's kind of the approach I wanted to take. And we went to California, and when we came back from California is basically when I got pregnant. And honestly, I didn't even know, or I didn't have any feelings or inclinations that I was pregnant. I had went to go preach in a church in Wachula, and I was pregnant. I didn't even know it. And I came back home, and that whole trip to Achula and preaching there, I was just really exhausted, and I thought it was because I had been sick with bronchitis a couple of weeks before, but like it just kind of was like made me raise an eyebrow as to like, this exhaustion's a little like too much, but I still didn't think about it. I thought like it was just about me being sick. And then we had went to the mall to go take Ellie out on a little daughter date, my husband and I. And the exhaustion was like so much, and then I just physically felt like something's off with me. And when we were walking out of the mall to go home, because I told them I'm just so tired, I need to go home. And when we were walking out of the mall, the thought hit me, maybe you're pregnant. And so we needed some groceries, and so I took a little rest. I got up, went to the store, came back. I bought a test, and I obviously took the test, and to my surprise, it was positive. And I started to freak out because I've had in my lifetime already, at that point, I had 3 miscarriages. And so all the fear came, and I just was really scared that this was going to end the way all my other pregnancies had ended, other than Ellie's. And so my husband left to go get some medication for his grandma, and when he came back, I was supposed to make dinner, and he's like, why didn't you make dinner? And I show him the pregnancy test, and and he's like, what? Like, and I was like, I know, and I just hugged him, and I was like, I'm so scared. Like, part of me is happy, but a big part of me is very scared. And he's like, okay, we need to be aggressive about this. And so I immediately put myself on bed rest. We talked to the leaders in our church, let them know what was going on, because I was going to start not doing a lot. So I took myself off of YouTube. I took myself off of social media. I was dedicated to just resting and doing just the bare minimum of the things that I had to do. We made quickly an appointment, and saw the doctor. I got put on medication to try to help me keep the pregnancy. I got put on progesterone for me to try to keep this pregnancy. I was being monitored. I got put on bed rest. And basically the doctors and I were trying to make sure that we got through the first trimester, which is, where everything is very sensitive. So doctor orders the first ultrasound, and I tried to stay very positive because I had a word from God. So I was trying to stay very positive because like I said, I had this word from God, and also because I didn't want to bring any stress to my life. And so I was very positive about everything, and I'll even insert a little clip. I won't put the audio on it, but you'll see a clip of my husband and I, because we had decided that we were going to document this pregnancy. So we did a very first video, which you'll see here, like some clips of it, and I was really excited. Went to the ultrasound, and they couldn't find anything. They didn't see anything. And at that point, I should have been already around 6 or 7 weeks, according to the last date of my last period. They said, doctor talked to me and said, you might be earlier than what you thought. You have PCOS, you have irregular periods, so you may have ovulated later, and you may implanted later. So let's just kind of take this little by little, and let's schedule you. Let's do blood work, and let's schedule you for another ultrasound to see if we see something the next time around. I can't lie. I felt devastated. I felt frustrated. I felt I was looking for something positive because pregnancies have been hard for me, and I was looking for just a sign that everything was good. And when they told me that there was nothing there, that there was no baby, I just felt frustrated. I didn't feel like I was miscarrying at that point because the symptoms I was feeling were so strong. I was nauseous, I was tired, I was feeling all the feelings of pregnancy. So I felt positive in that sense. It's just like I just felt frustrated in that I couldn't just have a normal pregnancy. I've never just seen a positive pregnancy sign, pregnancy test, and everything is just good from there on it, like on out. Every appointment is exciting, and I have never had a pregnancy like that, because all my pregnancies have been high risk, and it's been ultrasound appointments, blood work, trying to keep my pregnancies. And so I was just frustrated that I didn't get a positive sign. But I was listening to some sermon, and I prayed to God, and I felt like this peace that the best thing that could happen is that there would be a baby at the end. And the worst thing that could happen was that I would miscarry, but I had already miscarried 3 times before then, and God helped me through, and God got me out, and I came out stronger. So I was like, I got this either way. Either way, whatever happens, I got this. And I just felt a peace come over me. Had my second doctor's appointment, and all the blood work came back great. My numbers were doubling. Everything was looking amazing. They had me do an ultrasound that same day, and they were able to find the baby. And I got a little picture of the baby that I'll show here. And that one I left really excited, but I didn't want to film it because I wasn't sure. Like, just because they had found the baby didn't mean that I was gonna stay pregnant. So I kind of didn't want to continue filming at that point, our journey. I thought maybe later on, after the first trimester passed, I would do a second video. So I didn't film anymore after that one video that the clips that I showed you. And then I felt good because I saw the baby, but there was no heartbeat. They're like, don't worry, looks like you're just early, and instead of being 8 weeks, you're actually 6 weeks. Let's schedule an ultrasound for next week, because by then you should be closer to 8 weeks, and you definitely should see a heartbeat by then. So I felt good because, like I said, I was feeling super nauseous. I was throwing up. I was exhausted. Just everything that comes along with pregnancy. And so I felt good because they had found the baby. Things were progressing. My numbers were doubling. Everything looked good. So the next week comes around, and before going to the ultrasound when we're supposed to hear the baby's heartbeat, I knelt down and I prayed, and I remember telling God, whether there's a heartbeat or there isn't, I believe in you. I trust you. I trust your plan for my life. And I just need you to guide me either way. Because I really need you. And so we went to the ultrasound. I believe I have a clip of us on our way to the ultrasound, and that I'll show here if I do actually have it. And I remember being excited because I was feeling very positive. I was trying to be very positive. I was just exerting my faith, and I was like, I'm gonna go hear this heartbeat. But I also understood that, their reality is that there might not be one. And so we went to the ultrasound, and we go into the ultrasound room, and the tech doesn't say anything for a while. And then starts asking me questions like, are you sure that was your last period? Have you bled? Have you been feeling pain? And when she started saying all those things, at that moment I already knew. I knew that there was no heartbeat and that she was having difficulty even finding the baby. And she basically tells me the ultrasound ends and tells me I wasn't able to find anything. And so she's like, get dressed and have you go talk to a doctor. But then the ultrasound manager comes in and says, I'm going to do your ultrasound. Since last time I was able to find the baby, I'll do the ultrasound again. So then I do the ultrasound again. Same thing, not really saying anything. She doesn't ask me any questions. She's able to find the baby, but there's no heartbeat. And she doesn't tell me that, but obviously they're not showing me the heartbeat. They're not showing me the baby. They're not saying anything. So at that point, I already knew. I already knew that the baby hadn't developed a heartbeat and that I was in the middle of miscarrying. And so they tell me that I have to go talk to the doctor. So I go and I talk to the doctor, and the doctor comes in and tells me, unfortunately, I'm coming in with bad news. It looks like that your body hasn't caught up to the fact that you're in the middle of miscarriage. And basically your body thinks that you're pregnant, but the fetus hasn't developed a heartbeat. So eventually your body and will catch up to the fact that the pregnancy has ended, and eventually you're gonna go through miscarriage. And so I already had known that because by the ultrasounds that I had seen and the time that I should have been between 8 and 11, somewhere between 8 and 10 weeks pregnant. By then you should be able to see a heartbeat, and I was still measuring. I measured back. The last time I was measuring 6 days and 6 weeks and 2 days, and this time around I was measuring 6 weeks. So I knew that with the difficulty of them trying to find the baby and everything, I knew that what she was saying was right and that I was in the middle of miscarrying. I also slightly was feeling relief, like slight relief from the symptoms of pregnancy. So kind of everything, hand in hand. Like I was still feeling nauseous, but not as nauseous. I was still feeling some symptoms, but not as strong as before. But I was like, I'm still feeling them, so that's a good thing. I'm not bleeding, I'm not in pain, so that must be a good thing. So I knew what the doctor was telling me was true, and they gave me some options of what we could do. The first one was just to let it take its course and for me to miscarry at home. The second was that they could help me miscarry at home quicker and give me some medication. And then the last option was for me to have the pregnancy removed. And after talking to my husband, that was the route we decided to go with. Or because if you've ever miscarried, the amount of pain and blood loss and low iron and everything that I had gone through, I've already gone through 4 miscarriages in my whole entire lifetime. I decided to go this route also because this route was going to help get me some information. They were going to do some genetic testing and kind of help me kind of figure out why I can't stay pregnant. And so we decided to go this route. And so they scheduled me the next day to have the procedure done. And my body was, we didn't know at the time, but my body was not really like the right candidate for this particular this procedure to be done within the OB's office, my OB's office. So we started the procedure, but we were having difficulty. A procedure that typically takes like 15 to 20 minutes, I was taking an hour, and I was starting to slightly hemorrhage, and so I had to be rushed to ER where the OB was going to meet me and finish the procedure, and I had to be put to sleep, and then they would be able to do a DNC and be able to get the rest out so that I wouldn't hemorrhage out, because my body was just not she told me from here on out any kind of procedure like that has to be done in an OR because of the way my body is. And so I have the procedure, and when I woke up, I thought, I'm gonna feel like my world is ending. And when I woke up, I didn't feel like that. I felt God's peace over my life. I was obviously sad, but I had this peace just come over me, and I just felt God's presence over my life. Like, I just felt God's peace over my life, and I felt like God was just keeping me strong, and he surrounded me with amazing nurses, amazing doctors. My husband was right by my side the whole time. There's people praying with me. I decided that this time around I wasn't going to do this alone, and so there was people praying with me, there with me along the way. And I was sad, but at the same time, like, I was just so thankful to God that he got me, that he was going to get me through it, and that maybe this isn't what I wanted, and this isn't the plan that I had for my own life, that at the end of the day, he knows. Like, he knows the plan. And I was like, I tried my best. I did everything I could. I was on bed rest. I let go of responsibilities. I got off social media. I was stress-free. I did everything possible to keep this pregnancy, and it just wasn't God's will for me this time around. And so I was able to feel complete peace knowing that I did everything that I could, and that God was there, and that I'm gonna get through it. You know, it was difficult because since it was around the holidays, it was after, Christmas. Literally the day after Christmas was when I went to go get the ultrasound, and then the next day on the 27th was when I went to go get the procedure done. And so everyone was posting up their pregnancy announcements, and so that made it hard. So I just got myself off social media for a little bit. But all in all, I feel good. I feel really good. I have moments of where I feel sad, and that's normal. I'm human. But I'm holding on tight to God's promise, and I'm so appreciative of what I have. I have an amazing husband. I have a daughter, and I serve an amazing God. And even though this has been hard, because this is my 4th miscarriage in my lifetime, And even though the process, I'm still healing, um, I'm just so incredibly thankful that I don't have to do this alone, that God is holding me and that God is guiding me and that I have a promise and that this isn't the end. And not only that, my husband is an amazing person, has been there supporting me, and that my friends have supported me, my family has supported me. I'm so incredibly thankful that I decided not to do this on my own and to hide it from everyone. Like, I'm so thankful that I got hugs, calls, messages, video chats, my husband holding me. Like, I haven't felt alone at all through this process, and I'm so thankful that I don't have to do this alone, that I have my family, that I have, my community of faith and my family in church, and I just feel so supported by God and everybody that it has made this process a lot easier. Um, and I still believe. That's the thing. Like, my faith hasn't dwindled. It's gotten stronger. You would think that after 4 miscarriages, I'd want to give up and not want to continue to try. Um, but I just don't feel that way. I feel like if I don't make myself available, if I don't show up, then I'm not going to receive my blessing just because things are hard. I'm not going to just throw in the towel just because things don't go my way, or because of, what I've gone through, I'm just going to quit. Like, I don't feel like that. I feel like every single time my faith has gotten stronger, my perspective has gotten different. I feel like God has made me stronger through this whole process and has matured me and has matured my faith. And instead of turning away from God, I feel like this has had me know God differently and has taught me how to love God even when you're not in the season of blessing. You're in a season of, still waiting. And I'm incredibly thankful that I still have a chance, because there's people that don't have a chance. There's people that would die to be in my position, would love to be in my position, to be able to have a chance to have a child and to get pregnant, like. And so I feel incredibly thankful and I feel incredibly blessed, that I have my daughter and that I know that God's gonna bless me with more kids. My faith is even stronger that if it's taken 3 miscarriages. One of these days I'm gonna have my rainbow baby. One of these days I'm gonna have my baby in my hands. And I'm gonna be more appreciative because of the process that I went through. So as far as like, what is our plan now? There really isn't a plan. All I know is that my body has gone through a lot this last year. I had 3 miscarriages in 2019. So for now, the doctors have recommended that I don't get pregnant for a long time, which I'm in agreement with them. But there's still some testing that needs to be done, some information that I need to have, a couple more appointments with my OBGYN. And with all the information and talking to my husband and all that, we'll come up with a plan of, and then also with God's guidance, we'll have a plan of how we're going to go about trying again later. For now, it's not going to happen for a while. My body needs a rest, and I need a rest mentally and physically. And so that's what's going to happen. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to consult with my doctors and my husband, and ultimately with God. God will let me know when it's time to start trying again. And that's kind of the plan. this process has changed me in a good way, and all the time that I had from November to now, I've had a lot of time to reflect and a lot of time to think, and there's some changes that I want to make in my personal life for the better. And because of that, I have decided to change the kind of content that I'm bringing on YouTube. I want to be more transparent. My idea in the beginning was to just give a lot of knowledge of the stuff that I've learned about productivity and the stuff that I'm learning, and to share it with you guys. And I will continue to give some of that. But there are some other ideas, and I want to be more transparent and share other things, personal things. I want to share my journey more. I want you guys to come into my life more, to know me more. And I want you to come along the ride of what God is going to do in my life in 2020. I have strong conviction of what I have to do for this year. God has shown me exactly what He wants me to do for this year, and I want to take you on that journey. I want to share with you what God is doing, and I just want to be transparent. And so I'm going to be changing a little bit the content that I'm putting out here, and I'm also going to be changing the day. I'm going to be changing my day from Tuesday to Wednesday, because Tuesday is my day off for my family, and I was editing and stuff on my day off, and I just don't want to do that anymore. So I just decided to switch over my day to Wednesday, and I'm going to be bringing different content, and I'm excited for the stuff that I'm going to be doing in 2020, and I just ask that you pray for us, that you keep us in your thoughts, and that, when you see me in person, or, just give me a big hug. And, or message me, or, just keep in contact with me. That's the point of YouTube, is to, the reason why we're doing what we're doing is to be able to bless you guys, and the little knowledge that we have, or the knowledge that we have, is to share it with you guys. And so, hit the like button, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.